Hi there, listeners, and welcome to the Curious Collective podcast, conversations designed for the veteran and first responder community to bring awareness to those holistic practices that help us live our best life. So tap into the wisdom and knowledge of our guests to heal, transform, and live as your true soulful self. Now, listeners, today with us we have the amazing Kylie Michelle. Now, we met online, or maybe about 6 or so years ago now,
I think
but we have met face to face a few times. I love this woman. I class her as one of my favorite friends and soul sisters, and it is so good to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Katie. It's great. And yeah, I would say we definitely have lived past lives together, and that's so instant connection when we met.
Yeah, it's so good to find people in the veteran space, that you really sync with straight away. And you can have deep conversations like that. I'm not a superficial conversation person. So to find someone, I'm like, oh, let's talk about all the things.
Exactly. Don't you love it when you can actually go deep really quickly with conversations instead of like, oh, how's the weather? So
Yeah, no thanks. Ugh.
great.
So please share with the listeners. So where are you in the world right now? And what is it that's really lighting you up?
I am in a place in Victoria called Strathbogie, which I just love the name. I love saying it. Strathbogie. What's lighting me up is I've just purchased a home base down here. I'm from North Queensland, so having a home base down as I travel around Australia, and I've purchased a couple of cows, and I'm interested in cow therapy and hugging cows. So
Wow, I
that
didn't even know cow therapy was a thing.
Oh, neither did I never did. And so it's just fantastic. Like I'm learning like to train some cows. I'm just on handling cows. So that's what's lighting me up, talking to cows every day. How weird is that?
Yeah, not at all. Like they're such gentle giants and they kind of just hang about. I think as well, like if I was to look at a cat, they teach us how to just pause and be.
Yeah, you know what? You actually have to slow right down and with them. And what I love though is they're less reactive. I don't know whether you've ever done with horses. Like I've owned horses before and that, and even with the equine therapy and that, they horses are reactive, so you do have to be slow. Cows aren't as reactive, and they just sort of, if there's a noise or something going on, they'll just sort of like look over and go, huh, oh, noise, like where a horse will go bolting or doing something. So, yeah, they're a little bit different. These are young calves that we've weaned from their mum and handled the entire time. My
Yeah.
service dog has been with them during the whole weaning process. So he just walks around them and they actually sniff each other's butts like dogs. That is like hilarious. But no, we're just practicing and getting where I'm leaning on that deep pressure therapy with them. And that's
Mm.
yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I met a lady in Victoria who does it, like sort of cow therapy, and now when you keep saying it, now your social media will come up with all these cow hugging, things.
Awesome.
It's
I look
quite,
forward to it.
yeah. So
So this place that you've got yourself in now and this work you're doing with the cows and much more, how did you get to be at this point? Like what has been your path to bring you to the here and now?
wow, that is such a journey, and it's like how do you break it down in, for many years of trying to work through this. I think it's nearly 5 years since I transitioned out of army. And that whole transition process is massive for anyone like coming through from feeling really unwell, and getting out of the army with being diagnosed with PTSD, then having to do a retrospective medical discharge, thinking that I'm, doing all the work and being well. And as I'm transitioning out, taking up meditation and, finding new networks and, writing and journaling and speaking, doing talk therapy with psychologists, doing women's circles. So I really thought I was on my path to wellness, but I really was looking at all these modalities I was doing as that they were the magic pill. Like I would do this and it was the answer. And I do believe meditation is such a huge practice, but I wasn't looking at it in the right light or the right way. Instead of looking at it as that, I'm going to find the magic answer that's going to heal me, I had to learn to look at it that it is a tool that's going to help me and only I can heal myself. I really, really struggled in the whole transitioning process. I thought I was well, I wasn't. And COVID was a snapping point for me as well. Like it was a complete breakdown. Really just isolated, locked myself away. I was in the deep in depression as well as the PTSD. And I realized after that, and it's taken some time, that I had to break free. I had to choose to live. And I brought a van. So brought a van, did up a van. I was so scared of life. And this was, for me being brave to do and to travel. I believed and I was being pulled to get away from all the noise, get away from everything else so I could actually hear myself. And that's what really brought me to here. And traveling in the van's been great. But when you want to travel for so many months of the year, you're taking a lot of stuff. And, so I believe I need that tidy and everything around me. And I want to spend a lot of time down south. So I ended up buying a home base. It's 2 acres with a shed, and I'm able to store gear there, and I can go camp for a few days, come back to it, and wash clothes, do whatever there. So finding this home base sort of gave me a little bit more stability instead of the constant moving.
That grounding through
yes,
the roots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I found that grounding was exactly what I needed. Like the freedom of the van and being able to live life and be free, and then the grounding of having some of my own property. It's just been phenomenal for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love you to talk a little bit into, you said getting away from the noise to hear yourself. What does that look like for you, and what sort of tools did you use to do that?
It took such a long time, and I think it was such a process of trying different methods of healing before it clicked in a meditation that all the power was within me. But being in in Townsville, where I guess where I transitioned out, it felt like all the trauma was still there. Like even though I wasn't in, it still felt like it was all there. I wasn't. It just felt bad and noisy is the best way to explain it. So removing myself from that location, and also not removing myself from people altogether, but just removing myself back to basics and to nature and to gratitude. When you can be grateful that for a flushing toilet, or when you can be grateful for a shower, it's that gratitude practice every day for me. And then it started to come like the quiet I could hear within. And it is, you talk about grounding, because it's walking around for me in my paddocks and working through things that are coming up. It doesn't mean that I don't go through my day to day not being triggered, not having anxiety episodes, not having depression. It it just gives me the space that I can listen, and I can
Mm.
feel that emotion, and then I can deal with it. And walking around in the paddock has been the most healing thing for me. And what I found, that space for me though, has allowed me to venture more into the world and be around people more. And
Mm.
I just found that fascinating, because I thought that I was getting away from everyone, but I was getting to a space where I could be with myself, that I could work through my own emotions, so that I am able to then, you know, be transition back into, the community. So
Yeah, and there's a multitude of things there as you're beautifully immersing yourself in that paddock is the grounding because you're there in nature. And I know nature's always been a powerful tool for you. It's always filled you up.
mm,
Absolutely. We've shared that. And as well, like that word spaciousness that you used, you can't bring in the new or release old patterns or beliefs or anything if you're too full, right? So that spaciousness that you're allowing now to bring in that new, yes, is a thing in itself. It's magical.
I think you put it in a post recently, and I commented on, for me, this is the unlearning phase. So as I'm going, through, and what comes up, that emotion, it's like, where is that coming from? What's the story that or the belief that's around that emotion? And now the unlearning of it. And for me, space has been able to do that. Nature has been able to help me with that. Cows have been able to help me with that. And like, it's the hiking. Like, currently I'm sitting in my Jeep, and I can tell you, I'm looking down this most beautiful valley, and where I am, it's just absolutely fantastic. And that's this is what it is for me. Just being able to come back to myself, I think, is definitely what's
I want the peacefulness of your beautiful farm. Tells you I've got kids knocking at the door right now, literally trying to come in, and I've said, please, just 10 minutes. Just hearing you speak about it feels so beautiful. And I love that you spoke about that unlearning piece because we were on a call the other day talking about it, and we'd said like it's the unlearning to tap into the great remembering because at the deep seat of our soul we actually already know all this stuff, but there's so many layers and layers and layers and layers placed on top of it that I guess shroud or don't allow us to tap into it. So it's nice to be able to find some of it, isn't it?
massively. I really thought when I got out was, I lost my purpose or my identity of getting out of the army. And it's taken such a long time. Like, then, once I transitioned out, then I thought my purpose was to help others. And then I was so busy in trying to do that. And, it was, I don't know, this needing, this purpose to be able to continue living. It's like, for me, I felt like I had to be doing something. I've only, it's 4 or 5 years on. Like, I've only learned now, my purpose is me, and to heal
Mm.
me. And my purpose isn't, being busy and running around and trying to solve everything. And from that, being able to heal me, look after me, that is my purpose. Because only that, it has this beautiful effect, a domino effect of being better for family, being a better mum, being out in the community more. Like, it enables me to do more things. But it was such a shift of thinking, to realize that my purpose is me. And the language too, when people ask you, oh, what do you do, and all that sort of stuff, like, I am so comfortable now just saying that, yeah, I'm a retired veteran. Like, but in that first year there was not a chance. Like, I would say that, you go into the shops during the week and they'd go, oh, you got a day off, and you go, yeah, 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 like, you didn't want to talk about it, because
Mm.
this loss of identity and purpose, like, it was so
It's a big
huge.
piece, yeah.
Oh, such a big piece. And knowing now that the purpose is me is just,
Mm.
is so wonderful. And that's the, healing journey. It's definitely, I feel like it starts now. Like, it wasn't those 4 years getting out and all the things that you sort of put through with your rehabilitation officer, or go all your DVA claims and your GPs and your allied health and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's such a process, but the healing really starts now. And I think that I had to go through this, and I definitely did a lot of seeking, but the it took quite a bit of time to find that I had the power and that I am the purpose.
It's such a powerful message, and I've got so much that I want to unpack from that. But there's two things importantly. First one would be the domino effect, which we'll come back to, and the second one is the seeking, which we wanted to speak into, this seeking pattern, because I also had it. So I think it's important we talk about it. But the domino effect, please talk into that. Like, I have seen countless times people getting out and then doing that same thing, still wanting to be of service and getting in and being busy. But then they also, within this busy piece, have this, I need to do this and this and this in my family. But, what you've just spoken into, it unravels all of that facade, because it's when you choose you and you become the purpose, all the other stuff aligns and falls into place because you're modeling to the people around you this. So how did you see that, and how could you see that maybe for others by choosing them and then becoming the purpose, that domino effect? Could you talk into that a little bit more?
Look, it's such a lesson when you're in that constant seeking. I feel like look, hundreds and hundreds of dollars spent on seeking, and feeling through all that. And it has taken a lot of time. And I do believe meditation was where it came through, like learning different styles of meditation and different, diving deep into the meditation, and having maybe really good meditation teachers and stuff, and adding the journaling to it. That's where I realized the realization of having my own power. But you're exactly right in that modeling, because that comes from, as a mum, modeling that to your children first of all, and yourself with your beautiful children, to realize that you can look after yourself. So, and that really helps within that family unit, and then obviously to other people around you. So having many friends as veterans, and going back to that whole yep, you can do this. It's I don't know for you, I'm trying to find the right words and my brain does get jambled sometimes, on what it looks like when you see someone just get out, and then they're going through and they're doing the seeking and all that sort of stuff. And it was like, and they wanting you to jump on board that excitement for the next thing they're seeking, or the next thing they're seeking, and the calmness that you have, and when you are able to be centered and all that's the effect that it has on other people, where they can take a breath in your space and come back to center and just talk through it. Like it's such an easy conversation now, like letting someone get through all their excitement on what they're seeking and stuff, and then being able to hold space to have that conversation. Instead of being, I don't know, like judgmental, or
or like trying to give them your helper syndrome answer.
Yes,
Yeah, the
yes,
fixing.
that's what it is. Yeah, the fixing and the helping and all that. It's the, because I know that they'll get to the point that they'll realize that they can heal themselves. But, I think the domino effect has been where I can hold space more when people are going through early transition stages, or, what they're actually going through, even emotionally, whether they're transitioning or like, you know, going through different jobs. I've seen many people in that circle where people have gone from job to job to job, you know, like, but it is taught me to, you know, hold space, because I know that I can't, you know, be that for them, like they have to be it. So
absolutely. And I feel like when you come in as that centered person as well, to hold that space, we can teach them discernment. So, and the more they understand themselves and their own energy and what's going on for them, is the more they'll see.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not even what, it's just the more they'll see themselves and others. And that discernment piece is huge. Like, I know now, if I see something come up, like an ad, like, try this amazing transformative journey, blah, 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 I'm like,
yeah,
nah, scroll. But if I see authenticity, I feel authenticity, I feel integrity in people, like because I've got it now in me.
yeah. And realizing, I think it was that realizing that all those things, like, because I love crystals, I love the moon, I love following the moon, I do love journaling and writing. I
Chinese
love,
astrology is one of your things, or feng
yeah,
shui.
oh, I just, so many things. And but it is flipping it to realize that they are a tool, and like I have to use the tool, and it's not, the tool isn't going to save me. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's finding that I need to do that. But it's very interesting. It was that whole selling of wellness. I feel like when you know, you get out, and that it is, I guess, how you view it. And I'd be really interested to see how other veterans like see it, maybe people that have been, you know, have gone a few years on, how they view these things now, like whether they see them as the tools that are able to help them. But you know, it has helped me within talking to people, because you know, that whole feeling of like when you're in seeking mode, it's like, and someone is telling you about something that they're trying, it's like, oh, I have to jump on board that, oh, I need to do that. And instead of being able to sit back and, you know, listen
Ask
and
your body, is this actually for me?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
So
yeah,
much goodness in this. And you know, those that aren't in this world yet, or still finding you and your purpose, when you do, all these aligned connections drop into your life, and the connections that you do have become a lot stronger as well. um I know just this week Kylie has had people drop into her life that she didn't even know were coming, and she's like, oh, there you are.
yeah, it is absolutely amazing. And I love that sort of alignment when that occurs. And I think that is, like you said, I said that bond that you have them with, you know, particular individuals, like it just strengthens when you're able to sort of see through, you know,
Stories.
the stories
Mm,
exactly.
mm.
So
So, beautiful listeners, if you are curious collective, or you know, interested in finding yourself, finding your purpose within you, you are the purpose, or doing any of the work that Kylie has spoken about, what we get to now is to share your wisdom. So for those that might be peeping in this door, asking the questions, what advice do you have for them to get that momentum going for themselves?
you have to trust that you are the answer. You have to trust. It's, you know, there is space for whatever's needed. Like if you, allied health is definitely that first aid, you know, straight away for any sort of mental health. And you know, talk therapy and going through the stages or the process, you, if you trust yourself and trust that you will find the right tribe, because it does take that right tribe to, you know, allow you to be to grow more confident in believing in yourself. If I didn't have a partner that allowed me to, you know, be crazy and buy a van and travel and, you know, support me on that, or children that, you know, my family that didn't support me on, you know, what I'm doing, and friends that are happy and joyous for you instead of like, you can't do this. It's like, you need to trust yourself. You need to go down that and find the right tribe. Don't be around people that it doesn't feel right. If it's such heavy work to be around them, don't be around them. Find the lightness in people, and people that will, help you sort of through that journey in a positive way. And like I said, this week, finding people that, I didn't even know was coming into my sort of world, and that, so I'm really, quite happy about that. But it's only when you can take that moment and check in with yourself that you can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much. I know we could literally talk for days. I think that I don't say this with a lot of my guests, but we'll perhaps have you on again at some stage to talk about how the cows are going and all sorts of other worldly things. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you to the listeners that have tuned in today as well.
Thanks, Katie.
Katie out.